Marijuana, also known as weed, pot, cannabis, and so many other things, is both loved and scrutinized throughout the world. It is mostly used for recreational and medicinal use, but also for religious or spiritual purposes. In 2016, 51% of the population said they had smoked weed before, the highest ever in human history. This makes it the most commonly used illegal drug in the world as well. The earliest recorded use of marijuana is from around 3000 to 2000 BC. It was used by the ancient Romans, Greeks, and even Vikings throughout history. Though over the decades it has been subject to many legal restrictions, it still has grown to be what it is today. For some, a miracle plant, for others, the devil's plant. The question is, how did we get here? To a place where there are 8 states in this country where you can legally smoke weed for fun. And if you're watching this at any time after November 8th, 2017, that number could be way higher. If you would have told people that only 50 years ago, they would have thought you were suffering from some sort of reefer madness. See, that's what's interesting to me. The how. How did we get here? It's crazy. So smoke something, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into the history and truth of marijuana. Marijuana has made a journey across the world for over the last 10,000 years. But in order to really understand the history of this plant, we need to go all the way back to the beginning. Or what we know is the beginning. See, to really pinpoint the first use of marijuana is as difficult and impossible as pinpointing the beginning of man. It's a naturally growing plant that has been here since probably before we were. But there is early evidence of its use. So let's just start there. It is known that cannabis plants were first found growing wild in regions of southern and central Asia. The earliest evidence of inhalation of cannabis smoke is burnt seeds found in a ritual brazier or a pot at an ancient burial site in present-day Romania. The earliest written and recorded reference of marijuana is in 2727 BC from the Chinese Emperor Shennong. The emperor chronicled how effective the herb was for pain. Although in 2003 a leather basket filled with cannabis leaf fragments and seeds was found next to a 2,800-year-old mummified shaman in the northwestern region of China also. Ancient Chinese would use almost every part of the plant. The seeds were used for oil or food, the flowers, leaves, and root were used for medicine. The stem was used for paper and rope making or textiles. There are also ancient tombs that were filled with cannabis for their dead's afterlife. The next stop on marijuana's journey was Egypt. The ancient Egyptians did a much better job of recording their history in all different ways. The documentation of this is recorded on scrolls and hieroglyphs. Also, many different Egyptian mummies were discovered with marijuana fragments in their tombs and in ritual pottery. The Ebers Papyrus was written roughly around 1550 BC and is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, medical textbook to have ever been found. It mentions a number of formulas which make use of the hemp to alleviate pain and inflammation caused by various injuries and disease. The Egyptians knew what was up. It was actually unknown that ancient Egyptians used marijuana until the early 1930s. Though marijuana was found with mummies before this time, researchers could not identify the remains correctly because cannabis was not known to be used by the Egyptians of this time. Coastal farmers began bringing marijuana to Korea around 2000 BC, and this is where marijuana's journey really began. After reaching Korea, it then reached India around the same time. Coincidentally, at the same time, the Aryans began invading India. Once they settled in, the Aryan religion began growing and worshiping the spirit of the plant. Cannabis played a huge role in their rituals, and to slightly oversummarize the next couple thousand years, there was no holding it back. Eventually, the Aryans introduced the plant to the Scythians and many other peoples of the time. The plant eventually made its way from India to Germany and then on to Britain during the 5th century. A study showed that pipes dug up from the garden of Shakespeare's home contained traces of cannabis. Many believed the noted weed in 2 of his sonnets was referring to his use of marijuana. In the mid-1800s, Irish physician William Brooke O'Shaughnessy brought a quantity of cannabis with him on his return to Britain in 1842, which provoked much interest in the West. John Gregory Bork described the use of marijuana by Mexican residents of the Rio Grande region of Texas in 1894. It was noted that they used the plant for treatment of asthma, to expedite the delivery of babies, to keep away witches, and as an aphrodisiac. Because there were many other wild herbs and plants people were eating and smoking at the time, marijuana was thrown into the category of loco weed, along with other toxic plants. This may be the origin of how marijuana came to be known as weed. Cannabis was a part of life, and up until this point, the use of the plant was mostly looked at as positive. Once it found its way to North America, more people learned that when in the form of hemp, it could be used for fuel, paper, clothing, rope, and many other things. That didn't last long though. I made a previous video about the prohibition of marijuana in the United States, and that video picks up where this will leave off, so be sure to watch that one and continue along with the journey of marijuana and how it became what it is today. See, the whole point of these videos has always been to share true information on the origin of a subject and then for me to add my own truth to it. And if you know my videos, you know that I consider marijuana to have saved my life. It has helped me to become a better person, father, husband, treat other people better, and so many things. But most importantly, it has helped me, a person with ADD and probably a lot of other things, to be able to live a happy life. Marijuana's helped me in so many different ways, from depression to anxiety to just creativity. It's been great. But wait, just because it's helped me this way does not mean that it's absolutely for sure gonna help you this way. I just want to make that clear. One of the complex things about marijuana is that it affects people differently. And in my opinion, even the people it affects positively, like myself, can still find themselves taking advantage of the plant and misusing it. I've gone through phases where I truly believe I was smoking too much. It started to affect my mind, my wallet, and honestly, I started to see that it really wasn't helping me like it used to. In my opinion, there is a certain discipline you need to smoke weed responsibly. And yeah, I know, it's fun to look at people like Snoop Dogg and hear Dave Chappelle say, hey, smoke weed every day. I get it, trust me. For some people, it may work okay for them to smoke consistently all day, every day. But I feel like for me, I was beginning to take advantage and almost be disrespectful towards the plant. As of right now, I'm only smoking towards the end of my day when I'm totally done with everything I need to get done. That includes writing this script and making this video. And honestly, just knowing I have that bowl at the end of the day has been enough for me. And I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, but really my main point is that marijuana is a beautiful plant that can help many people in many ways, but it must be used responsibly and respected as such. So yeah, check out audible484.com to help support the channel and get some cool merch. Check out Patreon and you can support for only $1 a month. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below and let me know what you think of the video. Smoke something, drink something, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Real quick, just want to send a special shout out to the Kid Ami, the newest member of the Audible 484 Patreon squad. What's up, homie? I appreciate you. Peace.